Hey there, Mr. Tomato here. It's been a while and I thought, what a better way to make a return than to make a blender in Blender. Which is why in this video we're going to be making a blender. We're going to be modeling the blender from scratch by looking for some references online, and then we're going to be adding materials to it. So without further ado, let's begin. Okay, so to begin with, we want to find a reference image. I think it's one of the most important parts of making some kind of model in Blender, especially like hard surface modeling. So now in this case, I just searched up an image of a blender and I found this one right here, which I think should be pretty good to use. You can use other like images that you find, but I will be using this one for this video. So once you've found your image, you can just right click and save the image. And if you guys want to use this image, I will also be linking it in the description, so you guys can go check it out. Okay, so let's start with the modeling part now. So first here in Blender, let's select everything and delete it. So you can press A and then delete. And now I'm going to go into front view. So you can click right here, or just press 1 on the numpad. And first let's add our reference image in that we just saved earlier. So Shift A, and then go to Image and Reference. Now you just go to wherever you saved your image and then load it in. Okay, so now let's move our blender right here, this image of the blender, into the center and above the grid. So you can just press G, then just move it right here. And we can now start modeling. So let's start with the base first, this right here, this base part. And what we're going to use is we're going to use a cylinder. So let's press Shift A and add a cylinder right here. And we can scale it down so it fits, and you can also press S and Z to scale it down shorter. And then let's move him up around here. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go into edit mode. So let's press Tab. And then now what we're going to do is we're going to model the top part right here. So I'm going to go to face select, so press 3 and select the top face. We go back into front view, and now I can press S to scale it, and it will adjust like the size. So now we can like adjust it so it kind of fits the shape of our blender. Now I think the reference image is a little off from our model. So I will just move it a little bit in object mode to adjust it a little bit. I think something around here should be fine now. Okay, and let's go back into edit mode. Actually, I'm gonna move this up a little bit right here. I'm gonna leave the bottom part right here because we're gonna model the black part right here later on. Okay, so let's go back in here and we can press S like this, and then we can continue. So to continue, we're gonna press E. Now what E does is it extrudes our face that we've selected. So just press E to extrude and it will go up like this, and then we can press S to scale it again like this. Okay, then just keep pressing E, scale like this. And right here I want to leave a little gap because there's this black part here which I would like to add like the materials to. So I'll just leave a little gap right here. And then I will extrude again to keep going, and extrude again right here. Okay, so that looks good. And for the bottom black part right here, I'll just extrude it around here, and then select the edge loop, the face loop right here. So hold Alt and select it like this, and I'm going to right click and extrude faces along normals. So as you can see, it extruded it like this. Okay. So now we've got this set up right here. Let's press Ctrl 2 to give it a subdivision surface modifier. So now everything looks pretty smooth, but some spots it's too smooth, which we would like to add we would actually like keep it sharp. So let's go into edit mode. And for example, this part we want to keep it sharp. So we'll just hold Alt in edge select, hold Alt and then click right here, and then press Shift E. Now what this does is it creases the edge that we've selected. So as you can see now, it's got a nice crease right here and it's not smooth anymore. But for some spots, we don't want to use the same method by pressing Shift E because it's just too sharp. So instead, what we could do is press Ctrl B to bevel. Now this bevel right here is not 45 degrees now, like we wanted, because when we scale things, it kind of gets deformed. So we need to apply like the scale. So we're gonna go into object mode, and press Ctrl A to apply, and then apply scale. Okay, so now let's go back into edit mode by pressing Tab, and then press Ctrl B. So as you can see, this time it's actually 45 degrees now, and then you can increase the segments a little bit. Maybe like 4 or something, 4 or 3. Around here, that looks good. Okay, that looks actually pretty good. And then you can right click and shade auto smooth it. Okay, so now let's move on to the jar part at the top, this plastic jar part. We're going to press tab into the base again, actually, because we're gonna be duplicating the face at the top, and then we're gonna be using that. So as you can see, it comes out of like right here. It doesn't come out of like this face exactly. So we're gonna press I to inset, which would create like a smaller face inside it. And I'll put it around here, okay? And I'll press Shift D to duplicate it. Right click to put it back where like it came from, and then press P and use parts. As you can see, now we have this face right here, and we have this base right here. Let's select the face at the bottom, right click, not right click, tab to go into edit mode, and then we can repeat the same thing with we did with the bottom. It's just extrude, scale, extrude, scale, extrude, scale. Pretty simple stuff like this. And for the top, we could bevel it as well, like this a little bit. I think it looks nice. Actually, let's keep the bevel for a later part, since we're gonna make this part at the tip right here. So we can bevel it later. Okay. So now the issue is, like we have right here, is it's a solid piece, and a jar, it actually has space inside. So what we're gonna do is we're going to select the top face and just delete it right here. Delete faces. So now we can actually have like space in the inside. But what we need now is we need thickness for it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use a solidify modifier. So let's go to the right here at the modifiers properties, and then we're going to go to add modifier, generate, and then go to solidify. So now you can see there's thickness. I'll increase the thickness to about 0.03. I think that looks good. Let's keep it at that. And then once you've got like what you want, like it looks good for you, you can go hover on the modifier and then press Ctrl A to apply it. Okay. So now let's actually like work on the tip part right here. So what we're gonna do is we're going to press Ctrl R to loop cut, and we're going to slide it up here. So we can like move this edge forward, and this will be like a stop. Although we would also need it on the inside, so let's do that real quick. Ctrl R and add a loop cut in the middle. I'm gonna go back forward to check if it is aligned. So you can press Alt Z to go to X-ray mode, and then you can see the loop cut in the middle that we just made. I'm going to press GG and then kind of slide it to be at the same level as the one on the outside. Oops. Okay. So now that we've got that, we can now select this edge right here, as you can see. Let me go into object mode and move this to the back real quick. Okay, that's nice. We can select this edge right here and just bring it forward like this. Now that looks good. Okay. Now for finishing touch, we could select this 2 edge loops right here and then bevel it. Not too much though, a little bit. Okay, that looks good now. Yeah, it's pretty nice. Okay, and for the lid, the cap on the top, we can just press Shift A to add a cylinder. Just move it up scale it down to fit the size around here, I think. Then make it thinner. Now move it around here. Okay. That looks good. Maybe I will scale it and then press Shift Z a little bit. Oh yeah, that looks pretty nice. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to press Control A to apply the scale because we're going to be beveling again soon. And we'll select this top face, extrude, make it smaller, and then going to inset and then extrude again for this part. Now it's obviously not going to be aligned because I moved this back there earlier. So we'll just have to work it from here. So we'll select the top face, move it down a little bit so it fits. And I'm going to press Control and then plus on the numpad so it selects this part right here. Or what you can do is just hold Alt and select right here. Okay. Now we're going to go into front view, scale, and then Shift Z. And now we should scale it to the be like the reference image. Okay, that looking pretty good now. Let's give it a Control 2, give a subdivision surface modifier. And then right here we want to add some bevels. Something like this is pretty good. And at the top as well, bevel a little bit. And right here we'll just press Shift E and then crease it. Okay, that looks pretty nice. Now we just need to add this final part at the top to like cover right here. So it's pretty simple. We're gonna select these six faces right here. And then we can go to front view. Then we can extrude it on the x-axis like this. Let's move that a little bit more forward. Okay, looking good. And then I'm going to press S to scale on the x-axis and make it 0, so it's flat. And for this right here, I will select it. These right here, and I'm going to move it back. I'll put it somewhere around here. Now as you can see, this part kind of retracted back a little bit. So we'll have to pull it over here. Okay, looking good. Now if you like this curved kind of thing right here, you can keep it. But for me, I would like to like crease it a little bit. I think it looks better. Including this right here, this part. So I'll just quickly select them. Press Shift E, and it'll crease it. Okay, that's pretty nice. And I can also give it a shade auto smooth as well. Okay, looking good. Now, one last thing we need for the jar is the handle right here. So I'll add another cylinder right here. Scale it down really small, like this. Put it around here. Press Tab, and we're gonna select this face right here first. And let's go into X-ray actually. Press Alt Z, and then we can rotate this so it's like along the face right here. Okay, looking good. And we can select this face right here. And it's kind of like the same process we did with the jar or the base. We just extrude it, but this time we also need to like move it and then rotate it instead of primarily like scaling it. So E, R, E, R. I'm gonna just keep it going. You also need to move it, right? Okay, so that looks pretty good. Actually, now I would like to give it a Control 2, give a subdivision surface modifier. But now the tip right here is a little like smoothed out. So we will now select the face right here, bottom one, and the top one, and then press Shift E to smooth it out. Yeah, that looks good. Then now we just give it a shade auto smooth. Perfect. Okay. So now next we need to give it a little knob or something, like a leg at the bottom. So we'll just add a cylinder, scale it down, and then we will go into edit mode, select the bottom, scale it, Control B, like this to bevel, and then Control 2 to give it a subdivision surface actually. And then just crease this as well. Okay, so now we got that looking good. Now let's go to bottom view, and then we can distribute these along like this. Maybe move it in a little bit. Okay, looking good. So for the final part of this model, we need to like add this knob right here. We can turn and use the blender. So first, what we need to do is we would need a circle. So let's press Shift A and add a circle. Bring it forward, rotate it 90 degrees. Go to front view and kind of keep it like this. Okay, so you can see we put it kind of like the shape right here. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna press F to make a face. And basically what we're gonna do here is we're going to use this circle and we're going to like align it with the curvature of this shape right here. But now the problem is when you do that, it's a single face, so a face it can't really bend. So we would need to like cut this into multiple faces. But when we use like operations like Control T, which is used for triangulating, it doesn't really work that well. So instead what we're going to use is we're going to use a knife and just manually cut it into like squares like this. So we just cut it vertically and horizontally, as you can see. Oh, forgot to mention, to use the knife you press K and then you have this nice knife right here, and then you just click on the starting point and then drag it to the end point right here. And when you got it, you just press enter to apply it. So now we just keep repeating it. Okay, so in the end it will look something like this, very nice. Which now it will actually allow us to kind of curve it along the shape right here. So let's do that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna select this circle right here and press add modifier and then generate, and then we're gonna go to the, actually not generate, go to deform and go to the shrink wrap modifier right here. And then we're gonna select the target as our cylinder right here. And as you can see, it wouldn't fit that well. Actually, before that, let's move our circle closer to the shape. And then let's redo that. As you can see, it doesn't fit that well, as we need to change a few settings. First is we want to change the wrap method to project. And we just want to click on negative right here. And now when you got that, it would actually fit right there along the reference image and along the curve right here, because you're kind of just projecting it from this y-axis right here. Okay, so now let's select it and apply the modifier. So we have a nice curve right here, and go into edit mode, press A, and then extrude it like this. And then scale it in, Let's check from over here. We want to put it like somewhere around here. We wouldn't need to actually align it with the reference image because this isn't really centered, but this is. So we'll have something like this. And we want this to be flat now. So we're gonna press S and then go to, okay. So the normal doesn't work. So we'll just press S and then Y for now, and press 0. So now it's flat, and all we have to do is rotate it like this. So this looks nice now. Now you wouldn't want to unselect that right there, so make sure you got it selected. And then once you've got that, we can just press E to extrude this right here. I'm gonna keep this, oh yeah, actually, so now that we've got that, we're gonna press I to oh my god. Okay, so now that we've got that, we're gonna press F to actually fill this up now. Then we're gonna press I to inset, like this, something like that, and then press E to extrude a little bit. And then we're gonna press E again, but this time we're gonna cancel, and then scale it to make it bigger, like this. And then you can press E. Now the length of this is absolutely up to you, but we just want to keep this like little space right here. Okay, now let's press Tab and then go back to here, and you can press Control 2 to give it the modifier as well. And make sure you have this part creased, but we would need to unselect this right there. Okay, that didn't work. Select this loop right there. We just want to select this right here and then press Shift E to crease it. So yeah, that looks good. And for this part right here, let's just select it and bevel it. That. And yeah, amazing. Now you can, I'm gonna quickly inset this right here. So when we actually apply materials, we can use this right here to apply a different material from it. But like if you want to like these characters and stuff, you can use like the text of like Blender and then kind of model it in there, or you can use like textures and stuff, but we wouldn't be getting into that today. We're just making the model and getting materials. But anyways, there's it. We've got the model done. And now let's move on to the materials. Okay, here we go. So now for the materials, let's begin with the base right here. So we're gonna go to Material Preview to preview on material. And we're gonna go to our material properties right here. So now let's press this right here, because we already have this one from our default cube. And then we're going to first increase the metallic, since our base is a metal, kind of metal. And we want to lower the roughness. I think somewhere around like 0.2 is pretty nice. And yeah, that should be good. But now this is not done, because as you can see, if we zoom in right here, it actually has kind of this brushed kind of texture. And we could actually do that with like procedurally generated textures. So to do that, let's go to shading right here. And what we're gonna add is we're going to add a normal, not a normal, we're going to add a noise texture, and we're gonna use this as our normal. So now, we're going to press Shift A and then search, and then go to look for a bump node right here. And we're gonna plug the factor into the height, the normal into the normal. Now what that does is it takes our normal map now and it kind of creates this bumpy, like this, normal, like bumpiness right here. It's not actually bumpy, it's kind of just a material kind of thing. It's kind of like, I don't know, like an illusion in a way. But anyways, from now, we would want to adjust the settings. We want the most amount of roughness and the most amount of details right here. But now, this is kind of similar, but not, because the thing is kind of like stretched out on the X and Y. So we would need to adjust like the vector right here. So let's add a mapping node right here, plug it in right here. But for that to work, we would also need a texture coordinate node. So it knows where to kind of like coordinate the textures and stuff right here. So we are back to what we had earlier, but now we can adjust the scale. So for this, we could just increase the Z right here drastically. It actually so now I'm going to go for a setting of okay. So now I would probably go for a setting of around like 0.5, and for this it could be like 50. So now you can see it's kind of like brushed up on brushed on the side now, but it's pretty shiny. So you want to like lower the strength right here. So the strength of the normal. So as you have the more, it will be similar to like the original one. Pretty much put it somewhere around here. And you can also like increase this if you wanted to like be having more like detail. I'll keep it somewhere around here for now. And for this, if you think it's too shiny compared to this, you can increase the roughness actually. But it would look pretty different in like cycles, so just keep that in mind. Okay, now next for the glass right here, it's actually pretty simple. Let's create a new one and let's call it glass. Also, let's go back here and let's call it like metal or something. And for this one, you want to go down to transmission and then just drag the weight of the transmission all the way up. Hold up, my blender is loading. Okay, so you just want to increase the weight of the transmission all the way up and the roughness all the way down. So this would be now like a glass plastic, like clear plastic kind of material, but it's not really visible in Eevee. So we would need to go check that out in cycles later. Okay, and for the next one, we will add the black plastic kind of texture. So we can just increase this and adjust the base color to be like black and then just lower the roughness a little bit. This should be fine. You can adjust how shiny you want it to be. But if you want like to add some imperfections, you can also use the same method we did for this right here, which is using a noise texture and a bump right here. And it'll be, you know, bumpy. And then you just adjust the scale, the strength, and stuff. So you can see there's some some imperfections on your model, which is pretty nice in a way. Maybe it's something. It gives off a little more like. Which is pretty nice, as you can see. So now for this top part, we want it to be clear right here. So let's go over here to our material properties. Then we're going to select the top face right here and press Ctrl+ a few times until it selects the whole thing right here. We're going to press this add material slot and then assign it. So now we can assign this as the glass. So you know it's clear now. Okay. Now let's also rename this right here to like plastic. Okay, that's good. And a few that we have to adjust is this right here, the knob, and the bottom part right here. So let's select the bottom face, press plus a few times until it selects. Oh, selects here. Oh, that's too much. You just add a material slot, assign, and then go to plastic. Okay, that's great. And I'll join these four things at the bottom together and give it a plastic. Okay, that's great. And now I'm going to also change this right here. Add a material slot, make it a metal right here. But now since we have a subdivision surface modifier right here, it's kind of like curved, like smooth in. So we also need to press Shift E and then scale it out. So, it's not like leaking into the middle right here. I'm gonna make this smaller a little bit so it's a little nicer. Okay, so now we have something like this. It's pretty nice. Let's go back to layout, and I'm going to delete our reference image now since we're done. And let's go to cycles to check out our result. So go to render, EV, and cycles. Although as a warning, maybe for people with like a low-end laptop or PC, it might be a little like it might cost us some it might not run so well, so just proceed with your caution. Maybe like save your file before like opening it. So now we're going to switch to cycles. And then for people with GPU, you want to change from CPU to GPU, and you want to click on denoise right here. Let's go into our rendered preview. Now right now we don't have any lighting, so to preview for now, we're going to go to our world properties, and we're going to click right here and change it to environmental texture. Now you will need to open up a HDRI that you have. If you don't have a HDRI, you can go to a website called Havent, and you can download a bunch of HDRIs there. They have so many, it's really good. So you just press open right here and select the HDRI that you've downloaded. I'll go with like Wooden Lounge, and it will kind of set up a nice little environment with the lighting for you right here. So as you can see now, we have something like this as the result. Okay, so as you can see, now we have this as the result right here. Now, the brush might not be so visible, but that could be adjusted in the setting. But anyways, this is the result. We've modeled the Blender from looking like at the reference images, and we made nice materials for it. Okay, so that has been it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And I think, as you guys can see, it's been over a year since I uploaded my last video. And during that time, I've been using Blender to do a lot of things related to design, and not just using Blender for the sake of Blender. So I think now that I'm back to making videos, I wouldn't really be back to the usual formula. I want to take the channel into more of a product design kind of direction. So as you guys can see, I didn't really get much into the product design aspect for this video. We just made a Blender, but I will hope to get more into the topic in future videos. So stay tuned for that. Also, I would like to shout out to a lot of you guys who've been supporting me and my channel during even when I wasn't really uploading. It really means a lot to me, so yeah, I would like to thank you guys so much. But anyways, that has been it for today's video. If you guys have anything you would like to say, don't forget to leave a comment, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.